Hi, dear children, how are you all? Hope all are fine and doing well. Welcome to the fifth module of our chapter Force and Laws of Motion. Today, we are going to derive Newton's first law from Newton's second law of motion. We already learned about Newton's first law of motion and Newton's second law of motion. Newton's first law of motion states that every object continues to be in its state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line until an external unbalanced force acts on it. And Newton's second law states that the rate of change of momentum of an object is directly proportional to the applied unbalanced force and it takes place in the direction of force. So let's start our topic.
Now we will derive Newton's first law from second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion states that the rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the applied unbalanced force in the direction of force. Therefore, F is proportional to change in momentum divided by time. When we write the same in equation form, we can write F is proportional to m into v minus u divided by t. When we change the proportionality sign, F equals m into v minus u by t as the proportionality constant k equals 1. When F is equal to 0, that is in the absence of an external force, the above equation changes as m into v minus u equals 0. When we bring m to the other side, the equation will change as v minus u equals 0. Bring the negative u on the other side. Then you will get the equation as v equals u. That means its final velocity is equal to its initial velocity, which means there is no change in the velocity of an object. That is, the object moves with uniform velocity or it is in uniform motion. When u equals 0, then v will also become 0. Therefore, the object remains at rest. So we can define in the absence of an external force, the object will be continuing in its state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line. Thus we will get Newton's first law from second law.
Children, now we will discuss about some questions given in your textbook. You can refer page number 118 for it. See the first question given there. Which of the following has more inertia? A rubber ball and a stone of the same size. Second one, a bicycle and a train. Third, a 5 rupee coin and a 1 rupee coin. Children, we already learned that inertia is determined by the mass of the object. More massive the object, more will be its inertia. So in the first case, when we compare the rubber ball and the stone of the same size, you all know that the stone will be the massive object. So the stone is having more inertia than the rubber ball. And the second case, when we compare the bicycle and the train, it is very clear that the train is the massive object. So the inertia of the train is more and the inertia of the bicycle will be lesser. And the last case, a 5 rupee coin and a 1 rupee coin. Here the 5 rupee coin having more inertia because it is more massive when compared to the 1 rupee coin. Let's see the second question given in the same page. In the following example, try to identify the number of times the velocity of the ball changes. A football player kicks a football to another player of his team who kicks the football towards the goal. The goalkeeper of the opposite team collects the football and kicks it towards a player of his own team. Also, identify the agent supplying the force in each case. You all are familiar with the game of football. So it is very clear that the velocity of the ball in this statement changes 4 times. As the football player kicks the football, its speed changes from 0 to a certain value. As a result, the velocity of the ball gets changed. So that is the first case. In this case, the player applied a force to change the velocity of the ball. So the first player mentioned is the agent applying the force. Then secondly, it is given another player kicks the football towards the goal post. So here also the direction and the velocity of the ball changes. So this is the second case, and the second player who is mentioned here is the agent supplying the force in this case. Next, it is given that the goalkeeper collects the ball. So this is the third case. The velocity changes. That means the velocity becomes 0 when he collects the ball. And the goalkeeper is the agent applying the force. Then last it is given, the goalkeeper kicks the ball towards his team player. So this is the last case or the fourth case. The velocity of the ball changes, and here also the goalkeeper is the agent of force. Now we will discuss the third question. Explain why some of the leaves may get detached from a tree if we vigorously shake its branch. The leaves are getting detached due to inertia of rust. When we shake the branches of a tree, the branches are set into motion. But the leaves which are initially at rest will be having the tendency to remain in the same state due to inertia of rust. So they will fall down when we shake the branches vigorously. Now we will see the fourth question given here. Why do you fall in the forward direction when a moving bus brakes to a stop and fall backwards when it accelerates from rest? When we are in a moving bus, we are in the state of motion along with the bus. But when it brakes suddenly, the lower part of our body will receive that force, but the upper part, which was in motion, will be having the tendency to remain in the same state of motion due to inertia of motion. Therefore, the body will be moving forward, or we will fall in the forward direction. When it accelerates or when a bus starts from rest, we will be falling backward because our body was in the state of rest along with the bus. But when the bus starts or accelerates suddenly, the body will be having the tendency to remain in the same state of rest due to inertia of rest. So, we will be falling backwards. Now you can refer page number 128. We are going to discuss some questions given in your exercise. See the question number 1. An object experiences a net zero external unbalanced force. Is it possible for the object to be traveling with a non-zero velocity? If yes, state the conditions that must be placed on the magnitude and direction of the velocity. If no, provide a reason. Here it is asking, is it possible for an object to travel with a non-zero velocity when the external unbalanced force acting on that object is 0. Children, according to Newton's first law, we have seen an object can be at rest or in uniform motion if there is no external unbalanced force acts on it. So here it is telling the object can be in uniform motion in the absence of an external unbalanced force. So if an object is in uniform motion, definitely it will be having a velocity, and that velocity will be constant, and the object will be moving in a straight path. So here the answer is yes, and the conditions for the magnitude and direction of velocity are the magnitude remains constant, or it will be same, and the direction will be straight, or it will be the object will be moving along a straight path with constant speed or velocity. So I hope it is clear. See the second question given in the exercise. When a carpet is beaten with a stick, dust comes out of it. Explain. You all know that when we are cleaning a carpet, usually we will be doing the same. When we are beating it with a stick, the dust particles will come out. Here, when we are beating the carpet with a stick, we are exerting an external unbalanced force to the carpet, and the carpet is set into motion. But the dust particles which are initially at rest will be having the tendency to remain in the same state of rest due to inertia of rest. Therefore, the dust particles come out. Now we will discuss the third question from the exercise. Why is it advised to tie any luggage kept on the roof of a bus with a rope? This is similar to the case we discussed in the case of a passenger. Here, when the bus accelerates or starts from rest suddenly, the bus moves forward, but the luggage on the roof of a bus tend to remain at the state due to inertia of rest. So it may fall backward. Similarly, when a moving bus stops suddenly, due to inertia of motion, the luggage will be having the tendency to remain in the state of motion. So it may fall forward when the bus stops. Let's see the next question in the exercise, question number 4. A batsman hits a cricket ball which then rolls on a level ground. After covering a short distance, the ball comes to rest. The ball slows to a stop because 4 options are given there. You have to choose the correct one. I hope you all know that the answer is option C. That is, there is a force on the ball opposing the motion. And what is that force? It is the friction. Now we will discuss a numerical question from the exercise, question number 5. A truck starts from rest and rolls down a hill with a constant acceleration. It travels a distance of 400 meters in 20 seconds. Find its acceleration. Find the force acting on it if its mass is 7 tons. Hint: 1 ton equals 1000 kilogram. See the question, and first you have to write the quantities given here. A truck starts from rest means its initial velocity is 0. Then it travels a distance of 400 meter. So distance we are denoting with the letter S. So S equal to 400 meter in 20 seconds. That means the time is given 20 seconds. And last, the mass of the truck also given. It is 7 tons. When we are converting that into kilogram, it is 7,000 kilogram. So we have the initial velocity, distance S, time and the mass of the truck. Make sure that all the quantities are in SI unit. Children, now we have to find the acceleration of the truck. For finding acceleration, we can use the equation S equals ut plus half at square. The other two equations of motion we cannot use because we don't have the value of v. Then by substituting the values correctly, we will get the acceleration equals 2 meter per second square. Now we have to find the force. You know that force F is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass is already given in the question and acceleration we got it as 2 meter per second square. While substituting these two values, we will get the force equals 14,000 Newton. So the acceleration of the truck is 2 meter per second square and the force equals 14,000 Newton. Children, I hope today's topics are clear to you. Try to do exercise questions 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 as homework. We will discuss the answers of these questions in our coming sessions. Thank you.